Welcome back to the One Decision Away podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Mang. And in this one, we're going to get into how to be emotionally available as a parent, as a leader, as a boss, as a partner, as a friend, or just a companion in general. And this is so important, whether you're a parent, a leader in a company, an executive, whatever it may be, a manager. And typically, we don't think of emotional availability as an important part of leadership in business, but obviously, it's a very important part of parenting and leadership in that sense. But that may it may be beneficial if we change the outlook on that and recognize the importance of emotional availability in leadership as well. Now, I don't mean like being somebody's therapist or anything like that. That's not what it's about. Really, it comes down to one thing, one main thing that helps you be more emotionally available. And, this can lead to so much more trust and connection in your relationships. And it is one of the main things that is required to actually build those things in the first place. Otherwise, if you're never there for somebody, if you're never like emotionally available, you can't really create a real connection. And this is something that I've experienced quite a bit of as a challenge in my life, is feeling like I didn't really have people there that were emotionally available for me. And so I had to kind of be my own support system around that, essentially. So what it comes down to is one main thing, and it's presence. Presence. As a leader, as a parent, as a boss, as a friend, as a partner. Presence. And I just mean being. Just be like this. This goes for other people. It also goes for yourself. Because it's also a thing to be emotionally available for yourself. Instead of just rejecting your emotions, just brushing them off, acting as if they're not there, shoving them down, suppressing them. You need to be emotionally available for yourself and for other people if you want to experience an actual connection and be a more powerful leader, be a more influential, impactful person in general. Presence. So, what I really mean by this is not being in your head, like when somebody comes to you with an issue, with a problem, or with some things that they have going on, challenges, and they're feeling a lot. Not trying to solve it for them, but being there in the present moment and allowing them to have a space where they can safely express what they're genuinely and authentically feeling. That's all. Just being a safe space. Healing, if healing is the goal, healing cannot happen without a safe space for emotions to come up, to be expressed and felt, released, processed, whatever is needed. It can't happen without a safe space. And so that's why often it is so necessary to heal from something, to get out of the situation that caused the wound in the first place. Because if you're still in the exact same environment and circumstances that caused the pain in the first place, it's really hard to have enough of a safe space to actually allow those things to come up and feel and process them and heal them. Unless all parties involved, everybody involved, is intentionally and deliberately creating and allowing that space to be had. If the space is not there of presence, of safety, of trust, but not only is trust required for it, it also creates trust. This is required to build trust. Those that we trust the most are those that we feel safe with, those that we feel honored and respected, those that actually take the time to be there and be present with us, to allow us to express whatever needs to be expressed safely, just listening, not trying to fix us. Because when we try to fix somebody else, when somebody comes to us expressing a problem, not necessarily with the intention of asking for solutions, but just they need to express whatever is going on, and we try to fix it. It's as if we're looking at them as just another problem that needs to be solved, instead of actually looking at them as the human that they are in this moment, just being present with them, being present with another human. This is so important, especially in leadership, because so often a lot of leaders who have a very strong influence over other people don't actually treat or look at the people that they're influencing as people. Unless they have developed the capacity to be present and be emotionally available and just be able to cultivate this safe space for the people around them. A lot of times, this is one of the main things that leaders lack, is this presence, listening, genuinely listening, not listening just to say something, but listening to help the other person feel heard. If we're only listening to say something, then the person that we're listening to doesn't actually feel heard, because we're not actually present with what they're saying. We're in our mind, and this is how so many people live. They're constantly in their mind. They don't get out of their mind. They can't be present because their mind is so overactive, because there's so much going on. And as a leader, it's understandable. You have so much going on. You have so much to take care of. You have a lot of responsibilities. However, everything becomes easier when you have a genuine, authentic connection, support system, and network of trust and connection with those around you. Because as a team, as a organization, as a company, there needs to be trust and there needs to be cooperation for everything to function well. And you are sabotaging that if you are not being present with the people who are also a part of the same system, network, organization, whatever it may be. You're sabotaging it by not being present. You're so focused on how much needs to get done and everything that you're responsible for that you're not being here in this moment and recognizing that this is one of the key aspects in getting all of that stuff done, is actually being present, listening to people as humans, not as problems. Because everybody is actually, whether we believe it or not, we are whole. And so often we've separated ourselves from the idea of wholeness. We think that we think in such states that are so scarce, lackful, and we think of ourselves as separate from those things that we want, separate from love, separate from worthiness, separate from connection. And so we crave these things because we're under the flawed premise and the flawed foundation that we lack these things, when really they're always there. It's just our ability to be emotionally available for ourselves and for those around us, which is our ability to be present. And so often with friends, family, clients, whoever I'm talking to about this, I share the importance of being present with your emotions as a way of healing. Because if you can't be present with your emotions and actually allow them to be there, then you are not allowing yourself a space that allows for healing. Healing is not possible unless there is that space of presence. But what typically happens is we feel an uncomfortable emotion and we're not emotionally available for ourselves, or somebody comes to us feeling this negative emotion and they want help. They don't know what to do, because they haven't cultivated that space where they can be emotionally available for themselves. They're coming to you. You can't be emotionally available for them either. They don't know what to do with this emotion. They're trying to resist it just as you're trying to resist it when your uncomfortable emotions come up. It's in resistance. It's how do I get out of this state of being? It's trying not to be here right now, but that's the exact solution, is being here right now with those feelings that are currently present in this moment. Just being with what is. That's what it comes down to, being with what is. Because if you can be with what is, accept it, allow it, and not identify with it, not make up all these stories about it or buy into all these stories that you've already created about this feeling. Maybe you're getting caught up in all these thought loops of negativity, of unworthiness. I'm not good enough for this other person, or I'm not good enough to be loved genuinely, truthfully, fully for who I am. And you get into that whole rabbit hole of negative thinking, and you start to believe it and identify with it. It becomes a part of your identity, unworthiness, that you're unlovable. And that could not possibly be true. Because that is all based on a foundation of fear. It's all based on a foundation of fear. And if you have a foundation built on fear, then you have no foundation at all, because it is not real. It is your creation. And it is not a pure creation, it's a miscreation. It's a misuse of your creative power. And so in learning to be present with yourself, with other people, you can be more emotionally available. You can create a space of safety where healing can actually happen. Where you will, if you allow yourself to be present with what is, you will also allow yourself to return to a space of love. And those are a couple of the main obstacles, is the judgment, identification with the stories and emotions that you're feeling. And so in order to achieve this, you have to observe what is happening. You have to observe yourself. You have to observe the reactions within yourself to whatever the situation is. And you have to do it uncritically, because so often we observe ourselves, but there's always this filter of judgment. So you have to drop that filter of judgment. Observe yourself uncritically and recognize the emotional state that you are in, and allow yourself to let go of that emotional state. Because you are not that emotional state. The stories that you've bought into will tell you that you are, but you are not that emotional state. And if you can be in the present moment, you realize that you are the awareness of everything that's happening, the awareness of the storm that you're currently experiencing. But that in presence, you will find peace, you will find calm. Everything will return to this calmness. You're simply observing the storm. You are not the storm, though. And in that space of observation, of presence, of non-judgment, that is emotional availability. Just being present. I've made many different circles around this point in this video, but that's what it is. That's all it is. It's just to help create a greater understanding around this. All it is presence. If you can be present with what is in the moment, you are being emotionally available, because your attention is available for the emotions that are seeking to be held, that are seeking a safe space, that are seeking acceptance. That's so often all that it is we're seeking that acceptance. And if you can get in that space, then everything will be okay. And all of your relationships will improve dramatically. Your leadership will improve dramatically. Your results in your life, as a result of being emotionally available, as a result of holding space and presence for people, actually listening, instead of just leading them or telling them what to do, as if, they're not a human, just a robot. That isn't going to create a connection. That's not going to create loyalty. That's not going to create trust. It's not going to create openness and honesty, which is where all great things are born from. So you need to allow a space of greatness by being present, by being available. You don't have to always be available. I don't think that you should always be available for anybody at any time. But when you are in these spaces, when you are with someone, being present where you are, you know, if your kid is crying and they come to you and they're super sad, being present with them, not trying to distract them from whatever they're feeling, but actually being present with them as they're expressing this emotion so that you can teach them to actually learn to be present with their own emotions and express them and process them in a healthy way, allowing their emotions and not identifying with them. When we hold things in, when we suppress them, that's when they become part of our identity. Because we aren't just allowing them to be waves passing through our experience. We are taking them in and making them a part of us. And then we have this whole psychology based around this idea of us that's filtered by these emotions that we're still holding on to. And we will never see ourselves clearly. We will never truly know ourselves until we remove the filter and allow ourselves to be present. So I hope this wasn't too long and drawn out and, you know, going around the same point multiple times, but I only did that to help provide greater clarity and understanding. And so I hope that was valuable. And really, I hope that you understand the importance of emotional availability, of it, being emotionally available, not just for your kids or your family or your loved ones, but even for those that you are leading, those that look up to you, those that depend on your guidance, whatever it may be. Be present, because you never know the impact that you could have on somebody's entire life just by giving them a moment of presence. A lot of people don't have that at all. They don't have anybody they can turn to who is actually present with them. Because the reality is that so many people are caught up in their own world. They're caught up in their own world and they can't be present with your world. So make a change. Don't get so caught up in your mind. Be present within yourself. Cultivate a practice of feeling into this presence regularly so that you can bring it to your workplace, so that you can bring it to all of your interactions, and you can be that person who leaves a great impact in the lives of others. Because again, you don't know what even 30 seconds, a minute, 5-10 minutes of your time, you don't know how that could impact somebody else's entire life. So think about it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Drop a comment, hit that like and subscribe if you are not subscribed already. And remember, you're only one decision away. Maybe it's just a decision to meditate for 15 minutes. You know, like decide what it is that you want. Decide that you want to be present. Decide that you want to be a present, compassionate, understanding, trustworthy leader. Because that's how you do it. It's by being present. Relationships are everything. And this is such a key factor in relationships. So drop a comment and let me know your biggest takeaway from this. Let me know questions, anything that came up for you, anything that's significant. Always appreciated. Any feedback, always appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.